Hello, my name is Mathilda Värmensten, and I'm gonna talk about my rainbow family and also why I'm interested in study gender studies.
Mathilda is 53 years old and lives in Gothenburg with her wife and 2 children.
I came out as lesbian very late because I never thought I was a lesbian, actually. I lived with men and I was dating men, and my oldest daughter I had with a man, but I always seems to be a very good friend with every one of them. We started dating, it was fun, and maybe I was in love or not, but suddenly he just was a friend for me. And then I started thinking, what is it with me? Why I'm not interested to have a longer relationships with men and so on. 2008, no more 2007, I was starting to think maybe I'm more interested in women.
So she signed up for some dating sites online.
And it scared me because it was a new world open up, and I started to look in this QX. And QX is a lot of different people, a lot of different sexualities and so on. And it was very interesting, but also a little bit frightening. But anyway, one day it was a girl writing to me because my text was something like, I need to speak with someone. I don't know who I am. I need somebody to talk to about what I was, where am I? Am I lesbian, or I'm just asexual maybe, or was my thing. So this girl started to write with me, and we talked about everything together. She talked about a girl she was in love with, and I was talking about want to start to date girls and so on. Suddenly she asked me if we should meet, and I said yes, we can do that. I was a little bit thinking about it. She was much younger than me, and I was thinking, but she's very smart. She was grown up for her age. We decided to meet and set up a date, and we met and we were talking in hours. I had my big girl with me. She was at that time 10 years old. We met first at a restaurant here in Gothenburg, and we sat there, I think it was 4 hours, and just talking and had fun. And even my daughter was satisfied with it. It felt so good from the beginning. Then the restaurant was closing, and I said to her, you want to take a coffee some other place? Because I was not there to take her home, so I want to see on a public place. So then we went to a pizzeria and sat there another 4 hours and just speaking of everything. It got a couple of months, then we fell in love, and that is my wife now. So they was the first girl really I was talked to in QX. I was talking to a lot of girls and so on, but it was not that relationship. When I met Sunna, I knew she was the one.
And now they live together as a family.
We can say we are a rainbow family, even different color family, because I'm light skin and my daughter has a darker skin. And people ask us about Billy, who is the youngest one, and she has a donator. And some people maybe have a lot of questions about did you do it in Sweden or was it in Denmark? No, it's in Sweden, Sahlgrenska. We could decide that the donator looks like me, and it was successful because many people think Billy is my daughter. The whole family loves that people see us as a family. So maybe that is good as a rainbow family, because we are a family. So it's nothing different actually from other families. But of course we got these old questions, and Billy know that she has 2 moms, but she also know that she have a donator, and that we think is very important for her to know, because when she grow up she can talk to the hospital and get information about the donator when she's 18. That feels good as well, because myself, I was grown up a long time before I knew my roots. So I think it's very, very good to know your roots anyway. So we are a special creative family, but we are a family.
And of course, Mathilda doesn't go around and think all the time about being a rainbow family. To her, it's nothing special about that.
For us, it feels like natural. It feels, especially our youngest. For her, it's nothing weird. She goes to school and say, "Yeah, I have 2 moms." Which some kids will say, "What? No, you have a daddy." "No, I don't have a daddy." "But do you have 2 moms?" "Oh, I want to have 2 moms as well." But of course, there are questions that are more hard for her to answer, and she come home and say, "Mom, they ask me again. What should I say? How shall I explain?" Because we have talked to her very early about it will come questions, a lot of questions, because this norm that it should be a mom and dad and so on. But she's very strong and she's tough. She say, "No, I have 2 moms, end of story." And that makes us proud, of course, and it feels good that she's fine with that. And my oldest one, she have always loved my wife and see her as a mom. She call us like parents or my other mom for her friends, and it's nothing different with that. But she also said that she had a dad, but they have no connection, so Isuna is the most important for her.
And they are surrounded by great people.
We are very lucky also, I would say, with people around us. We have no people who judge us or something. They are very understandable or like the way we live, and we are actually quite normal and natural, and that's why I think people don't really think that we are different, because we are like we are. But of course we can meet people that ask, "Aha, you're married to a woman, okay, and you have kids," but never something negative, more like, "Okay, so how is this?" And you know, this stupid question you can get, "Okay, who is the man in this?" "No, it's no man, we are women." So that is actually the most stupid question we got, and we really just laugh at it because it's nothing to care about.
We're going to talk a little bit about what Mathilda does for a living as well.
I work at the police, taking care of reports and so on. But just now I'm studying gender studies and with my thesis. It's very hard, but it's very interesting. I read a lot about this I'm living in with intersectionality and rainbow families and homosexuality and different people, ethnicity and everything. It's important for me to know more about it, and also want to do something more in my work to help people who maybe need some extra help for the background, maybe. Something had happened in a crime because of the skin or because of the sexuality or religion. So I want to work with especially those crimes. So that's why was my thought that I should study more about it. So that's why I'm studying gender studies.
I personally think it's really brave and impressive to start studying in your 50s.
And it's quite late because I'm over 50, but it's never too late. It's a little bit hard. I'm not young anymore, and like that. It's harder to remember things because you have done so much more before, and you have experience in another way, and you have your work, so you have those thoughts as well. And now to study new things, it's hard when you get older, but it's also very interesting, and you have more discipline because you are older, I think. It's something I really recommend to people who maybe want to change the work and who want to change their, direction and do something else. Study, it's fun.
What Mathilda is embracing most from her studies is the word intersectionality.
I think that word for me means a lot, because I think that word is about me. I have a dark skin, I'm a woman in love with another woman, I have my rainbow family, and I think it's very interesting and good for me because I feel that I also have more history in gender studies, people before me, how they lived, and also what people like Kimberly Crenshaw and Zora Ahmed, who is one of my favorites, they write about so much that I can recognize, and that's why I think I want to study more about gender studies and also take this philosophy and thoughts and the studies into my work. So that's what it's my goal, to work with that.
If you enjoyed watching that video, please like, comment, subscribe and share the video. I really appreciate you showing your love in that way. If you also want to support the channel financially, that's possible via Patreon, but really no pressure. See you next time!